Here is your full, long, deeply emotional 40-minute YouTube-style story, written in plain paragraphs, no headings, smooth pacing, strong hook, and powerful message. If you want image prompts or SEO package afterward, just tell me. Please, please don't go. At least finish the hot chocolate you ordered for me. Those were the last words Emma whispered as she sat alone in that glowing Christmas-themed cafe, watching her blind date grab his coat and walk out before she even finished saying hello. The bells on the door chimed like a cruel announcement. Another Christmas. Another rejection. If you're watching this right now, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because what happened next will remind you that miracles sometimes walk into your life wearing tiny boots and holding hope-sized candy canes. Emma sat frozen at the table, the little red scarf she knitted for herself suddenly feeling too warm on her skin. Across the room, couples laughed, exchanged gifts, kissed under mistletoe. She tried to smile, tried to pretend that being alone didn't sting, but tonight it did. Tonight it hurt a little too much. She'd tried dating apps, setups, even advice from YouTube videos, but somehow she always ended up being the girl who was too quiet, too serious, or not what I expected. And being rejected on Christmas Eve felt like the universe was rubbing salt on old wounds that had barely healed. She stayed seated, trying not to cry in public. 15 minutes passed, then 20. Snow outside began to fall harder, covering the street in a soft white blanket. Emma finally reached for her purse, planning to slip out unnoticed. But before she could stand up, a tiny voice broke through the clinking cups and Christmas music. "Excuse me, are you the lady who was waiting for someone?" Emma turned. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7, wearing fluffy earmuffs shaped like tiny reindeers, stood next to her table. Her wide brown eyes were filled with curiosity, and something else. Something like concern. Emma forced a smile. "Yes, sweetheart, but he's not coming back." The little girl blinked, then climbed onto the seat across from her as if she had been invited. "My daddy says people shouldn't eat alone on Christmas. It makes hearts sad." She placed a tiny candy cane on the table. "You can have mine." Emma laughed softly. "You're very sweet. What's your name?" "Lily." She leaned in. "And, can I tell you a secret? I asked Santa for a mom this year." She said it so innocently, Emma nearly forgot how to breathe. "But Daddy says Santa can't make people. But I think Santa sends people. When he wants to." Emma tried to answer, but her throat tightened. She looked around, half expecting someone to rush over and claim Lily, but instead a tall man near the counter, holding 2 cups, gave Emma an apologetic smile. He walked over and set 1 cup near Lily. "I hope she's not bothering you," he said gently. "She has this habit of talking to strangers if she feels they're sad." Lily tugged on his sleeve. "Daddy, she's not a stranger. She's nice. And she's beautiful." Emma flushed, surprised by the softness in the man's voice and the warmth of his smile. He introduced himself. "I'm Daniel." His eyes softened as he glanced at Lily. "And apparently she likes you." Emma chuckled nervously. "She's easy to like." What started as a short exchange turned into hours of warm conversation. Daniel shared how Lily's mother passed away when she was a baby, and how every Christmas Eve, Lily asked him the same question, "Will I ever have a mom?" He spoke with gentleness, with honesty, with the kind of vulnerability Emma had never found in any date. Emma shared about her fears, her past heartbreaks, how Christmas felt lonelier than any other day of the year. And through it all, Lily watched them like she was witnessing magic. Eventually, the cafe announced its closing time, and people started clearing out. Snow still fell thickly outside. As they reached the door, Lily slipped her small hand into Emma's and whispered, "Can you be my new mom?" Her voice was so fragile that it cracked something inside Emma's heart. Daniel froze, turning sharply toward his daughter. "Lily, sweetheart." But Emma knelt in front of the little girl. "Oh Angel, moms aren't chosen that fast. They're grown slowly, with time. Like snowflakes turning into snowmen." She touched Lily's cheek. "But I'd love to be your friend." Lily nodded, but her little eyes brimmed with disappointment. Daniel looked torn between embarrassment and heartbreak. "I'm so sorry," he murmured. "She gets attached too easily." Emma shook her head. "It's okay. Really." They stepped out into the snowy street, where fairy lights sparkled on every rooftop. Daniel offered to walk her home, and though she hesitated, she accepted. The walk was slow, magical, filled with warm jokes and cold air. Lily held Emma's hand the entire time, swinging their arms like they'd known each other for years. At Emma's building, Daniel cleared his throat. "I'd love to, maybe see you again," he said, voice gentle but hopeful. Emma felt a flutter she hadn't felt in years. "I'd like that." The next morning, Christmas Day, she woke up to soft knocking on her door. When she opened it, she saw a tiny red gift box. No one was there. Inside the box was a small handmade ornament shaped like a snowflake, and a note in a child's handwriting. "It's okay if you can't be my mom yet. But can you try? Love, Lily." Emma pressed the note to her chest, tears streaming down her face. Over the next weeks, Emma spent time with Daniel and Lily, building snowmen, making hot cocoa, watching Christmas movies even though Christmas had already passed. Slowly, Emma realized how natural it felt to be in their world, and how empty her own world felt without them. But life wasn't a perfect snow globe. Emma feared she would eventually disappoint them, just like everyone she had ever tried to love. One night, overwhelmed with those old wounds and insecurities, she told Daniel she didn't think she could be what Lily needed. Daniel stepped closer, looking into her eyes. "Emma, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay." His voice trembled. "I spent years trying to be both a father and a mother. But the truth is, I'm scared too." She wiped her eyes. "What if I don't know how to be a mom?" Daniel smiled softly. "Then we'll learn together." On New Year's Eve, they were sitting on the snowy rooftop of Emma's building, watching fireworks light up the sky. Lily curled up in Emma's lap, resting her head against her chest. When the final firework burst into glittering gold light, Lily whispered sleepily, "Emma, did Santa send you?" This time, Emma didn't hesitate. She kissed Lily's forehead. "Maybe he did, sweetheart." Months passed. Seasons changed. Love grew quietly, naturally, like spring flowers pushing through snow. Emma didn't replace Lily's mother, but she became something new. Something steady. Something loving. The following Christmas Eve, exactly 1 year after the night she was rejected on her blind date, Daniel took Emma to the same cafe. Snow fell softly again, just like before. Lily, wearing her reindeer earmuffs, held Emma's hand with excitement.